Alright, so today I'm going to be setting up Octoprint on the Raspberry Pi 5. I'll show a picture of my Raspberry Pi 5 on the screen. And the whole goal is to be able to control my Prusa i3, which I'll show on the other side of the screen, remotely. So this means live camera feed, time lapse of every single print, etc., etc. I'm going to be doing this setup with only my MacBook and the Raspberry Pi, no need for a monitor, keyboard, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, to get started, I'll show you all you need. You need a MacBook, you need an SD card for your Raspberry Pi, you need your Raspberry Pi. I'm using a Pi 5 to be specific. If you don't know the actual model, you can flip it over and you'll see in the circled area the model. And then you'll also need a webcam. I'm using a USB InnoMaker cam, and then obviously your Prusa printer. So the first thing is once you determine your Pi version, you are going to take the SD card out and you're going to download this tool called the Raspberry Pi Imager. So you can download this from Raspberry Pi, their official sites. I'll drop the link down below. But once you get this all booted up, the next thing you want to do is you want to insert your SD card into your MacBook. So I'm going to be using a adapter. Let me just do that real quick. So you're gonna insert said adapter into your MacBook, click allow, let that load up there. Once that's done, you're going to select your Raspberry Pi. So we'll wait for this to load. But you want to select your Raspberry Pi version. So I have specifically the Raspberry Pi 5, as we saw. You want to click next, and then for OS, you want to go down to the OctoPi, right? So you want to go down to OctoPi support. None of these. So you can do a Moodle box. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep looking for OctoPi 3D printer operating systems, and you see OctoPi right here. There's also these other ones: Duets, Mainsail, Simply Prints. I'm going to use OctoPi. We'll do OctoPi stable. Click next, and then I have mounted my 32 gigabytes SD card. It's called Budapest, so I will click next on that one. And then for host name, I am going to call it OctoPi. Oh. And then you just set up the details. I'm in Canada, Toronto, and we'll keep that as the default. What do we want as the username? We will set the username also as OctoPi. Password as admin temporarily, and admin temporarily. Next, you just want to connect to your network that you're going to be connecting to. I'm going to be using my Wi-Fi hotspot just for easeability, as well as if I move anywhere, I can still connect to it, and then I can set it up elsewhere. So you enter the SSID. The password. enter your SSID, enter your password. You click next. You want to enable SSH. This is like the most important part. You want to make sure that you enable SSH. That way you can access it without the monitor and without the keyboard. It's going to be over Wi-Fi. Okay. Then you can use password authentication. That is fine. This is a summary of everything, and you write authenticated on your Mac. Allow. Now it's going to do the download. So we will be back. Grab a coffee, grab your pasta, grab your shawarma. We'll be back once it's done writing and flashing. It says it was ejected automatically. We're going to remove it. We're going to then put it in a Raspberry Pi, and then we'll go from there. So we were having problems trying to get to the Wi-Fi to auto connect to my hotspots. I'm still going to SSH in. So what we're going to do now is going to just check the config. So you open your terminal, right? Which this thing right here is the terminal. You go CD, and then you just click your SC drive, drag it in. Now you can see everything that's here. We want to check this OctoPi network.txt is the old networking file. We need to now check Wi-Fi and connections. So we're going to nano this guy. Oops. Okay, cool. Now here is where we're going to be doing the big chunk of our edits to make sure we accommodate for our Wi-Fi. So you're going to want to uncomment all of this. So now in passy, which you see right here, you want to just add the hotspot password. So I want to do that. Cool. Now you do Control X Control X on that. You click Y for yes. You keep the same name. Now you can check to see that's all good. Let's put that guy there. Let's go like that, and you can see we're all good. So now let's eject, don't erase, eject. Oh, we're still in it, so now let's eject. Ejected, and we're good to go. So I'm going to plug in power into our Raspberry. Turned on. Screen. now that it's in, we're going to SSH into our Raspberry Pi.
So I actually forgot to record this part, so I'm gonna record it afterwards. So this is the day after, but basically to get into your Pi, once you've connected it to Wi-Fi, you just go to SSH. We set it as OctoPi at octopi.local, and then we set our password as admin, and there we are. Now we are on OctoPi, and it is currently launched. If you need to debug, like whether you have OctoPi installed or not, you can do it alongside, the description below. I'll put some debugging. You can also just check it, octopi.local, and then you just follow the setup over here, and then your connection will be set to either the ports or auto, and then I had to reboot my Prusa, like turn it off, turn it back on, so I can get the state operational. So you might need to try that as well. And the wire I used was this USB-A wire Arduino. I used this guy right here from an old Arduino kits on my Prusa i3 MKS.
So once you go here and you are in Octoprint, you want to set this up in Bambu Slicer. So I've created a key, which you would just type in here, and then you have your Bambu Slicer. You would click here. You would enter your password, and then you would get your API key. You would copy that over, you would confirm, and then from there, let's just use all that details, but from there, then you can go on and set up a Bambu Slicer. But before we do that, because I want to be connected to it remotely, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go and install Tailscale. So what we'll do is we'll run a curl command for Tailscale. I'll put this down in the description. We're going to install Tailscale on all the dependencies, and then we are going to do sudo tailscale up, which will allow us to bring it onto the tailnets. Okay, now we're going to run sudo tailscale up. It's going to give us a URL that we are then going to log in with. So this URL right here. We're going to use this to log into our accounts. Okay, so we are now logged in to that tailnet, and then we can boot up a Tailscale, and we can see on Tailscale. Okay, so over here on the left I have my Mac terminal, on the right I have my SSH terminal. It's my Octoprint Jetson. So now if we do Tailscale IP-4, we get our Tailscale IP. Just to make sure it's accessible, we can go ping. You can see that we can reach that IP on our MacBook. So we can also see that as long as we're connected through Tailscale, just search up Tailscale, and then you should see over here you're connected. You just go HTTPS, and then you go to that IP. You should be able to connect just fine. And then you can see here, we are connected to our Raspberry Pi. And now that we have this IP, right, we can close this, take this IP, we'll go to our Bambu Slicer, and then we will go to prepare. In that profile that we selected, I have the MK3S. So let's slices. Slice. Oh, that's weird. Let's do this again. Tailscale IP. And then let's also API key. Okay, slice. France. Okay, now we're good. Do is we hit you see it says USB there.